For 7 years, the Georgia Dome was the largest dome structure on the planet. It lost that ranking, but it's still the largest indoor sports facility in the U.S. And what a facility it is. Welcome to Atlanta. Tom Hamlin here, and beside me, Chris Collinsworth. We're looking forward to another great NFC South battle as the Atlanta Falcons take on the New Orleans Saints. Both teams come into today's game pretty fired up. Let's go down to the field for the opening kickoff. Atlanta gets ready to kick it away. The kick. From the 8. And now their offense will take the field for the first time in the game.
Give this one a shot.
The
First and 10.
Will start the drive at the 26-yard line. First and 10.
The Falcons bring in the nickel package. They'll give it off here. Play fake. He's going to take off. And he dives. Brought down at the 37-yard line. Pretty good coverage downfield, so he decided to pack it in.
And that's just the kind of thing that this quarterback will do. He's pretty good at creating opportunities with his legs.
They line up at the 37. The Atlanta Falcons line up with a nickelback. They give it to the tailback. This running back just showed off some nice ability there.
Yeah, the offensive line did their job. They created enough of a seam to get him up into the secondary, and then he was able to explode from there.
The Falcons come out in a 4-3. The halfback with the carry. The 30, the 20, the 10. They'll score. Touchdown.
Touchdown, Saints.
Baronis lining up for the point after. Extra point is good. New Orleans is up a touchdown. New Orleans looks ready to kick it away. Booming kick. Fields it at the 3. Still working.
It's still very early, but this is one of those spots you'd like to be able to respond and put the ball in the end zone.
Nothing will keep the defense honest better than a good play-action fake.
Ball on the 36.
At the 36-yard line. First and 10.
Out of the I formation. First down, looking to throw. Under heavy pressure, he's dropped for the sack.
This defensive line is just so impressive. They keep manhandling this offensive line, pushing them back into the quarterback. As a quarterback now, you have no choice. You have to do some quicker plays, get that ball out of there.
Back to pass. Pass completed.
Just a simple little bubble screen there to the wide receiver, and defensively, you really have to fly out there, or this guy could really break one in the open field.
44-yard line.
They come out in a nickel. They'll give it off here. Setting up play action. Now he's scrambling. He's hit hard on the play. He breaks this one for a decent gain.
And in most defensive schemes, the one guy that is not accounted for is the quarterback. And it becomes so frustrating on those big downs if a quarterback takes off and picks up a first down.
The New Orleans Saints go with a 4-man front. Pass is complete. Number 84 caught that one for a gain of 7.
7-yard gain on the play.
Send your receivers deep, set your feet, and heave the ball out there.
Ball on the 44-yard line.
44-yard line.
The Saints come out in a 4-3. Pitch right. Runs over tackler. He's pushed out at the 30-yard line. They had a chance to stop him, but he was able to shake off a couple of tacklers for the first.
Yeah, they looked like they were trying to hug Grandma out there. Pretty dainty tackling on that one.
30-yard line.
The New Orleans Saints go with a 4-man front. Here's a counter play.
I know it takes patience, but you have to keep running the football to defense. Sooner or later, they'll be able to break one for a big gain.
If you don't like what you see with the defense, you can always audible into something else.
They're in field goal range.
Ball on the 27-yard line.
The Saints line up with a quarter defense. There are 7 defensive backs on the field. Still pushing.
So important as a coach to establish that running game and use it as a weapon that keeps that defense off guard.
Ball on the 21-yard line.
Ball on the 21-yard line.
Watch the wind, watch the wind, watch the wind. Woo, come on, put some clamps on.
The New Orleans Saints bring in the nickel package. Steps up in the pocket. Pass is complete. Big gain on that play. 19 yards. First down, goal to go.
Scan the defense quickly here. If nothing's open downfield, get rid of it by passing it to one of your backs.
Let's see if their play calling changes now that they're in the red zone for the first time. He's in. Touchdown. That was a big-time run.
Let's give the running back credit on this one, but defensively, that was a breakdown. They had him in the backfield. They had a chance to make a big play defensively, and they just blew it.
The extra point to tie this game up. Extra point is. The kick is away. Takes it from the 6. The defense looks to rebound after that last effort when they allowed a touchdown.
A smart coach would call this play.
First down now and 10 to go.
Heck, this is a good one to call.
2nd and 10. Ball on the 26-yard line.
The Falcons bring in the nickel package. Back to pass. He couldn't hang on to it. Foxworth gets his hand on it.
Try this call here.
3rd and 10. Ball on the 26-yard line.
Hey, what you got for me, baby? What you got?
Single set backfield. Drops back to pass. Pass completed. They hurry back to the line. They'll throw on first down. It's completed. Let's head down to the field for the call.
Pass interference on the defense. Number 24, first down.
This defense might work.
First and 10.
Ball on the 43-yard line.
The Atlanta Falcons go with a 4-man front. And he caught it. Higgins drags him to the ground at the 37-yard line.
Peterson on the reception.
Give this one a shot.
Gain of 6. on
Second
the
and
play.
4 coming up here.
2nd and 4. Ball on the 37-yard line.
The Falcons come out in a 4-3. Back to pass. All kinds of pressure. Nelson gets the pick. So the defense just picked off their 3rd pass today.
You know, one of the really misleading stats in football is completion yards. If you're throwing it up and down the field but turning it just doesn't matter. You have to maintain possession of the ball.
They line up in the shotgun. He looks to throw on first down. Makes the grab at the 50. He gets knocked out of bounds at the 40-yard line. And a great pass by the quarterback to convert for the first. Ball on the 40-yard line. They line up in the shotgun. Drops back on first down. He goes deep this time. Got him over the middle. Touchdown, Falcons. Rosenfels might have been shaken up a bit on the play. Dawson lining up for the point after. Dawson adds the extra point. They're starting to build a big lead early in this ballgame.
Yeah, this defense better figure out something to do pretty quickly or this one's going to get away.
Atlanta gets ready to kick it away. Decent kick. From the 6. Quarterback threw a pick on their last drive. Let's see if he's able to shake it off.
Boom. This defense will stop him for sure.
Watch that QB scramble.
The Falcons line up in a 4-3. They back off in cover. They'll throw on first down. It's completed. The 40, and he just got hammered.
Calls a timeout.
Just a little dump play, and he uses his speed to pick up huge yardage.
And from the quarterback standpoint, nobody sees in the statistics that was just a little pass and a great speedy receiver out there. All they see is a nice big game.
The Atlanta Falcons go with a 4-man front. First down, looking to throw. The quarterback comes through for the defense on that one.
And this guy likes to take chances, doesn't he? If he didn't get a finger on that ball, it might have gone for a big play the other way.
43-yard line.
The Falcons line up in a 4-3. Drops back to pass. Wilson gets the pick. He fumbled it.
Be efficient here. You can't afford to let time slip away from you.
So after the interception, now it's 1st and 10.
1st and 10.
The Saints bring in their quarter defensive package. Here's the give. Setting up play action. Throws it deep right side. Pass completed. The defense was coming with a heat on that play.
But you'd never know it if you were watching the quarterback. He stood in there strong, completely relaxed, and made that defense pay that time.
Watch that game clock. You need to keep it stopped as much as possible.
Down inside the 15. Another trip to the red zone. Last time it resulted in a touchdown.
74.
Drops back on first down. Makes the reception. The quarterback's been putting up some good yardage.
7-yard gain on the play.
Right here, you just got to kick the ball and take the points.
It's all on the field goal unit here. It's good.
It's good.
Atlanta looks ready to kick it away. Kicks it off. Fields it at the 11. Still pushing.
Kickoff return, 17 yards.
On his last drive, the quarterback completed a pass, but to the other team. Throwing another one could be disastrous to this offense.
This is a good one to call.
First
They'll
down
take
now
over at
and
the
10 to go.
28-yard line. First and 10.
I formation here. They give it to the tailback. New Orleans will take a timeout.
The spike coach would call this play.
It's second down, 6 to go.
Let's go, baby! 9-9-9!
The Atlanta Falcons come out in a 4-3. Back to pass. Pass completed at the 50. He breaks the tackle. The 30. And as we head to halftime, score is 24-7. Falcons.
We're ready to begin the
New Orleans will get it first here in the second half. He kicks it. Takes it at the 8. They'll take over at the 27.
Number 25 on the
Give this
return.
defense a shot.
They'll
First and
start the
10.
drive at the 27-yard line. First and 10.
The Falcons go with a 4-man front. Play fake. The quarterback is dropped.
Wow, did you see the shot he took on that one? This guy's a tough guy, but if you keep taking shots like that, you better have somebody in the bullpen warming up.
Castle is back in the gun. Back to pass. Crosses the line. He dives. Fumble on the play. It's picked up. And that fumble recovery will put an end to their drive.
Don't let those guys intimidate you. Get out there and run it down their throat.
First down now and 10 to go. The New Orleans Saints bring in their quarter defensive package. They'll throw on first down. Defender tips it away. Ward was unable to make the catch on that pass attempt.
Go for the home run on this pass. Keep an eye out for those safeties
Ball
lurking.
on the 38-yard line.
New Orleans comes out in a 4-3.
Let's go, baby! Down right! Down right!
Here's a little draw play. They've moved the ball consistently on the ground, and he seems to still have fresh legs.
Be aware of the pressure here. If you feel the heat, you got to make quick decisions. Just make sure they're good ones.
30-yard line.
Hard count, fellas. Come on, watch it. Hard count. Here we go, B. Here we go.
New Orleans goes with a 4-man front. Here's the halfback. On play action. Looks left. Heaves it deep. Winslow was the intended target on that incomplete pass attempt.
On the play.
So the field goal unit is on the field to try for 3 points. He missed it.
Is no good.
This is a good one to call.
After the missed field goal, they'll set up shop at the 37.
First and 10.
Watch the screen.
The Atlanta Falcons line up in a 4-3. Drops back on first down. Pass completed. He put something extra on that throw, and it'll keep the chains moving.
Try this call here.
First
Ball on
and
the
10.
50.
Ball on the 48-yard line.
The Falcons come out in a 4-3.
We've talked about how
on the carry.
important.
This defense might work.
Second and short coming up here.
Ball on the 40-yard line.
The Atlanta Falcons go with a 4-man front. Back to throw. They get to it. Harrigan was there to bring the quarterback down on the play.
Well, it's becoming pretty obvious at this point that they're having trouble blocking this defensive line. Now you really don't have a choice. You have to go to more 3- and 5-step drops. Get that ball out of there quickly.
Here's a good defense for this situation.
To convert on this third down play, they have to reach at least the 38. The Falcons bring in the nickel package. Back to pass. He's under pressure. Pass completed. Great catch on third down by Fitzgerald.
And that's exactly why this quarterback has so much confidence throwing to him, because he knows that this guy has some of the most reliable hands in all of football.
Atlanta goes with a 4-man front. Still moving. Peterson picks up about 7 yards there after getting the ball in the misdirection.
This defense will stop him for sure.
Second and 3.
29-yard line.
The Atlanta Falcons bring in the nickel package. The D-line is making some adjustments. He drops back to pass. It's completed. That's set up really nicely for the offense.
Quarterback blitzes are dangerous for both the offense and the defense. Obviously, when you're sending one of the defenders out of your secondary, you could give up a big play. But offensively, sometimes those quarterbacks don't see it coming, and they get hit hard.
They find themselves in the red zone for the first time today. Hit and drop behind the line by Dansby. Not what they were looking for on that play call.
You know, for a running back, there comes a point in time where you say, all right, this play is not working. Let me just get as much as I can and try to get it back to the line of scrimmage.
The Falcons go with a 4-man front. Here's the halfback. Peterson couldn't get out of the backfield.
No gain on the play.
A smart coach would call this one.
And this is the 9th play of the current drive. Down inside the 15. The defense lines up in a dive. Back to throw. Tries for. Baronis. Here. The kicker failed to get the ball through the uprights on their last drive.
On the return.
Come on now, stick it to him here.
First down, 10 to go.
Will start the drive at the 22-yard line. First and 10.
The Saints line up in a 4-3. They give it to the fullback.
As a back, you always have to be ready because eventually there's going to be a little crack and a chance for a big play.
Looks like they'll go with a no-huddle. Fullback handoff.
The defense held their position and didn't let them get away on that one.
Nothing will keep the defense honest better than a good play-action fake.
Third
Ball
and
on their
1.
own 31.
Ball on the 31-yard line.
The New Orleans Saints bring in the nickel package. They give it to the fullback. Setting up play action. Here's the deep throw.
Yeah, he has to put a little more elevation on that one. It came out sort of as a line drive and really never gave his receiver a chance to go get that one.
And that's the end of the third quarter. The score is 24-14. Falcons.
About to begin.
I don't think you have a choice. Punt the ball.
Nice series for this defense to force the 3 and out.
You know, we talk all the time about offenses getting momentum going and getting into a rhythm. Well, right now we're seeing this defense being aggressive, and they're in a rhythm now.
37-yard punt. Return for a gain of 12 yards.
Give this defense a shot.
The
Ball on their own
Saints will
35.
start the drive at the 35-yard line. First and 10.
The Atlanta Falcons line up in a 4-3. Here's a counter play. Runs over tackler. Nelson seems to be a little shaken up on that play.
You should stop him with this play.
First
Ball
and
on the
10.
50.
Ball on the 49-yard line.
The Falcons come out in a 4-3. Here's the halfback.
As a back, you're constantly trying to find that cutback lane, but they had every single backside gap covered. Nowhere to go for the back on that one.
The Atlanta Falcons line up with a nickelback. Almost picked.
Incomplete pass.
Fitzgerald wasn't able to bring it in. Incomplete pass on the play.
Now, smart coach would call this defense.
3rd and 10. Ball on the 49-yard line.
He drops back. Throws the deep pass. He dropped it.
And when the ball hits you squarely in the hands like that, you have to be able to make that catch. That is just simply losing your focus on the football.
Looks like they're going to go for it here on 4th down. Pass is complete. He's pushed out at the 37-yard line.
This defense looks good.
Watch the draw, too. Watch the draw.
He looks to throw on 1st down. Hits him square in the hands, but he fails to bring it in. The quarterback really felt the pressure on that last play.
Yeah, it just didn't give him time to go through his reads. Clearly the first guy was not open, but he tried to throw it anyway and almost got picked off.
They'll go from the shotgun. Back to pass. The 20. It's completed. Open field ahead. Touchdown Saints. The extra point is good. And we'll get ready to kick this one off. He gets his leg into this one. Fields it at the 3. Runs over tackler. Open field ahead. What a run. He returns this one all the way. Touchdown. Well, they're finally able to extend their lead on them after the big touchdown return. The kick.
A smart coach would call this one.
From their own 26-yard line.
At the 26-yard line. 1st and 10.
Watch that QB scramble.
The Atlanta Falcons go with a 4-man front. They'll throw on 1st down. And he catches it.
Now, a smart coach would call this defense.
Drops back on 1st down. Scrambled. Pretty good coverage downfield, so he decided to pack it in. Picked up a handful in the process.
Yeah, really not a bad play on that one to pull the ball down in that situation, because now not only do you have to think about maybe pulling somebody out of coverage or maybe just slow down that pass rush a little bit, but it plants a seed in the defense's mind. Yeah, sometimes those tip balls end up being tipped up in the air, and that's what defenses really feed on, those tip drops.
Ball on the 43-yard line.
3rd down once again. Let's see if they can convert this one. Tipped pass. Gates was unable to make the catch on that pass attempt.
The intended receiver on the play.
And it appears that the coach will keep his offense out there. Pass completed.
Boom! This defense will stop him for sure. This play might work.
They line up at the 50.
On the 48-yard line.
From the gun. Drops back on 1st down. Deflected and broken up. Ryans was defending on the play.
You should stop him with this play.
2nd and 10. Ball on the 48-yard line.
The defense has about 7 defensive backs on the field. Drops back.
How many times do you see a team perfectly execute a blitz pickup, and simply can't block a guy. And there's nothing the coaches can do there. They did their job, but the guys just got overwhelmed.
Loss of 4 on the play.
The Saints will take a timeout, and they've got 2 remaining.
4th down and a long ways to go.
Let's go. Let's get the pressure. Come on.
Looks like they'll opt to go for it here. He drops back, drilled, and through. There for the catch.
Not really sure about that call. I know the coaches in this league are getting a lot more aggressive, going for it on 4th down, but
They'll take over
why
at
they
the
kept the
50-yard
offense
line.
out there that
1st
time.
and 10.
Single set backfield. They give it to the tailback. Olshansky takes a timeout. So a gain of about 1.
Go ahead and take this one to the outside. But make sure you stay in bounds and keep that clock running.
The Saints bring in the nickel package. He throws on the run. Pass is complete. Talib tackles him at the 46-yard line.
3-yard gain on the play.
Run it up the gut and keep that clock moving.
To move the chains on 3rd down here, they have to get it inside the 40. They line up in the I formation.
Norwood with the carry. Gain of 4 on the play.
Try not to get too predictable out there. Make sure you got a good mix of run and pass.
They call on the kicker for the long field goal. He just flat out missed it.
You know, I really shouldn't laugh, but sometimes it's just funny watching the coaches and the players on the sideline. They always have the same reaction. They watch it and they're all excited, and then they just turn their entire bodies around and put their back to the poor kicker who now has to just slowly walk off the field.
It's completed. Fitzgerald had very high expectations for himself at the start of the season, and he's really delivered, piling up 1,000 yards receiving on the season. Spikes the ball.
Heck, this is a good one to call.
Second down now with 10 to go.
34-yard line.
The defense opens up the umbrella. Castle is back in the gun. Back to throw. Pass is complete. Stiff arms the defender. And they try to speed things up a bit. New Orleans takes a timeout.
Called by the offense.
They're inside the 15.
16-yard line.
The Atlanta Falcons bring in their dime package. Defense closing in. Sacked. They really are going to have to find a way to slow down the blitz.
Always thought it was so difficult to block linebacker blitzes because more often than not, it's a tight end or a back who has to try and step up and take on these great athletic, big pass rushing guys.
They'll quickly line up for another play. So this one is all wrapped up. Our final score, the Atlanta Falcons 31, the New Orleans Saints 21.
41.